Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I want to take a look at a new Qwilfish card. And the good news is, it's my channel, and I get to make videos on whatever I like. So I'm going to talk about a new Qwilfish card. It's a very interesting Qwilfish card, and it's one, I know some people really like Qwilfish. And I do think this one could be an awful lot of fun. I don't think this is going to be the kind of thing around which you build an entire deck, but I do think it is a really nice tech in a bunch of decks. So starting off then, what do we have? We have a 90 HP water Pokemon, so if we ever get a reprint of Level Ball, I really want a reprint of Level Ball. Incidentally, I don't think we're getting one, but I still really want one. We got a retreat cost of 1, which means you got your choice between Escape Board and U-Turn Board. So that's kind of nice. A weakness to Lightning. You got 90 HP, right? If we look at the Lightning Pokemon that have been seeing play lately, like Pikachu and Zekrom, they'll get a one-hit KO anyway. Zapdos will, even though it doesn't hit for weakness. It doesn't really matter, right? It's not a bad weakness because you got 90 HP. But you are a water Pokemon. Water Pokemon hit weakness on fire Pokemon. And with Welder being amazing, this is probably going to be a pretty good thing moving forward. The good news is we've still got stuff like Crash Awake, which works well in any water deck. Although, to be fair, there is nothing about Qwilfish that needs to be played in a water deck. There's no water energy in any of the attack cost. So if you're playing water energy, Crash Awake's quite a nice supporter. Discard 2 water energy from your hand, search for any 2 cards. But it's not actually anything that says Qwilfish needs to be played in a water deck whatsoever. And it means you can use Naganadel and Quagsire, but again, there's nothing to say you need to play this with water energy. So, what does it do? Well, our translation comes from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. He's a lovely dude. And the ability says that if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an opponent's attack, even if it is knocked out, the attacking Pokemon is now poisoned. It's not a particularly unique ability. We've seen this ability on a bunch of Pokemon in the past. We saw it on the Dragalge from Forbidden Light, which you might notice is still in the format at the moment. Although Dragalge is a stage 1 and Qwilfish is a basic, so, you know, score 1 for Qwilfish. It's nice, but it's very much a, I'm giving up a KO, I might as well get something for it ability. You got 90 HP. You are not going to sit here turn after turn after turn, poisoning Pokemon after Pokemon after Pokemon. That's not happening. Maybe in the future we get ourselves Focus Sash that works for water Pokemon, which essentially if you would be knocked out, you go down to 10 HP instead, making your opponent hit this twice to KO you, making poison go on twice. But this is a, you're knocking me out, you're getting poisoned. Maybe, I don't know, let's say Persimmon, right? It's just an example. We're not really playing many Pokemon like this at the moment. But let's say people are using the Persimmon that came around in Cosmic Eclipse. The one that does a little bit of damage and draws some cards. So what it does, 20 damage, draw 2 cards. They can only draw the cards if they get poisoned. Now, we're not really playing many setup Pokemon like this at the moment. You know, we see stuff like Victini seeing play, but Victini searches for energy and attaches it, and does not do any damage. We saw the same thing recently, though it has fallen out of favour with Arceus Prism Star, and that would get poisoned quite nicely, but that's fallen out of favour, so... I mean, look, against attacks like that, it's a nice Pokemon, but we're just not in a format where those kind of attacks are doing very much at the moment. You have my apologies. But it's quite nice in, say, a hit-and-run deck. Let's say something like Morpeko V... hits, goes to the bench. You need to put something in the active. Why not this? Now, sure, you're giving up a prize because this has got 90 HP, but you're still poisoning them in the meantime. And at this stage, I need to issue an apology. Now, I did put this out over Twitter, at the Wassy, but I know not all of you check my Twitter and don't read every single tweet I send out. The Toxicroak from Sword and Shield, I gave an incorrect translation in a previous video. Now, I pinned a comment to that video. I sent it out on Twitter. This will happen occasionally. by the very nature of it, we are using translations of Japanese cards that aren't out here yet. There is not a single person, site, channel, whatever you want to say, who has a 100% hit rate. And that includes myself. I will occasionally make mistakes. Now, you have my word on this. If I do make a mistake, it will be corrected as fast as I possibly can. Comments will be pinned. Tweets will be sent out. I will be doing everything that I can to make sure that when mistakes are made, which will hopefully be not very often, that they are corrected very quickly. But essentially, I said that the Toxicroak turns poison from 1 damage counter into 2 and therefore does not stack. See the Magnezone from Plasma Storm that says you may play 2 supporters, so no matter how many you have out, you may play 2 supporters. It actually says that you increase poison by 2, which means it does stack. It is literally just an ability version of Verbank City Gym. And incidentally, in Expanded, it will stack with Verbank City Gym. And it will stack with Seviper. To be fair, the ability is just Poison Barb, but now you can use your tool card for something else. Because you can't poison twice. You can double poison, but you cannot poison twice. That would be poison that adds on more and more and more as we go. It's kind of fun. Now, it takes a while, but if we've got ways to add up, it goes a lot faster. So let's say, for argument's sake, we can get 4 Toxicroak out. Now, I know we're not always going to get 4 Toxicroak out, all right? But it is possible to get 4 Toxicroak out. And if you get 4 Toxicroak out, then all of a sudden, your opponent is taking 9 damage counters between turns from poison. 9! 9! How cool is that? Now, if you and look, this isn't going to happen very often, right? But let's go for a silly example. Let's say we head over into Expanded. Now, we will have to play Skyfield, which unfortunately means we can't play Verbank City Gym. But then you can have 8 bench spaces. Let's give 4 of them to Seviper. 4 Seviper with Skyfield is better than 1 Verbank City Gym. And 4 Toxicroak. That means that we are adding 12 damage counters. It means your opponent is taking 13 damage from poison between turns. Tell me that doesn't sound like fun. Now, the good news is we actually have a really nice attack here on Qwilfish as well. For a single colorless energy, 10 damage, no. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, you do 70 damage. It's not bad. 70 damage for a single colorless energy on a basic Pokemon is quite nice. It is the easiest possible attack to pull off, being on a basic Pokemon for a single colorless energy. Yes, I know we've got colorless attacks like the Alolan Ninetales, which I've weirdly mentioned I think in 2 videos in a row now, but no, alright? It's not realistic. And to be fair, Alolan Ninetales was still a stage 2 anyway. My point is, it's a really easy card to put in. And if you want to play around with a Poison deck and Toxicroak, etc., this becomes a decent attacker. 10 for 1 colorless energy is bad. 70 for 1 colorless energy is good when you're also combining it with poison damage. Because it doesn't matter how efficient this is, right? At the end of this day, you're still only hitting 70 damage, and then you're giving up a prize. I'm assuming Qwilfish is going to get KO'd. Obviously, if you can take a few turns where you don't get KO'd, life is good, but that is, shall we say, slightly unrealistic. What would be really nice, and we don't, incidentally, but if we still had the older Dragalge that rotated out, that stopped your opponent retreating if they were affected by a special condition, that would be lovely. It was in Flashfire, rotated out a little while ago. That would help us out. So if you're playing a poison deck, it's a nice attack, it's a decent amount of damage. The thing about Qwilfish is you've always got to remember it's going to be KO'd fairly quickly. So you need to be aware of that. But if you can poison while putting, say, 5 damage counters on between turns, let's assume 2 Toxicroak, and then hit 70, so you're essentially doing 120 for 1 energy, now it's starting to look an awful lot better. So let's go ahead and give Qwilfish a nice, solid, easy, run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road, 3 Wassies. A good card with a nice bit of potential, but very much a tech rather than the focus of a deck. But I'd like to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, on Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.